right, we begin with this hour's big story. Right now, police and health officials in the Chicago area are scrambling to track down and shut down the source of synthetic marijuana that is killing people. So far, 3 people have been arrested. They're charged with trying to sell the fake weed to a convenience store. 2 of the suspects made their initial appearance today before a judge. Now, let's explain why it's so dangerous. Preliminary testing of some of that fake weed showed it was laced with a toxic substance frequently used in rat poison. The Illinois Department of Health says right now there have been at least 70 reports of people who have experienced terrible symptoms like severe bleeding, including bloody gum. Some even say they coughed up blood after taking the drug. So far, 2 people have lost their lives, and officials fear more people could die from this. Our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, joins me now, and you've done a lot of research into marijuana, the effects of it, the legalization of it, and now the replication of it, right? This manufactured weed, if you will. Let me ask you, explain what it is and how we would know that it is manufactured synthetic marijuana.
Well, it can be hard to know, and that's part of the problem because this is a very unregulated industry. As we've talked about, Michaela, what we're talking about basically is these guys are taking any kind of plant material and they're basically creating these chemicals that have some cannabinoids in them, basically can stimulate the receptors in your body, the cannabinoid receptors, and they spray it on this plant-like substance. And that's what they're calling synthetic cannabinoids. It's a little bit of a misnomer because it's really not marijuana at all. It's a totally synthetic substance that stimulates some of these same receptors. It is even in the stores sometimes, and it's going to be sold in convenience stores, gas stations, as you mentioned. Sometimes it's sold as an herbal or liquid incense. So it's not even sold as something that you would consume, but it's then placed near the cigars, for example, in a gas station. So it's a really, this is a new thing that's sort of happening real time, Michaela, this sort of way of creating this synthetic substance and trying to promote it without really promoting it as something people would actually ingest.
So the fact that some of this stuff has, you know, the ingredients that go in that are rat poison is distressing. No wonder people are getting so sick. Do you think that this is lazy drug making, or do you uninformed, ill-informed drug making, or do you think it's somebody trying to sabotage somehow?
It's the most important question, I think, right now, and I think that's what investigators are trying to figure out. First of all, when we talk about rat poison, there are substances that are sort of rat poisons that are medications. They're actually used to thin people's blood, and those are medications that are used in hospitals today. Was this an accidental contamination with this sort of blood-thinning substance? Was it another attempt by these makers to basically mask their drug, make it look different so it could escape detection? That's another possibility. Or was this something that sort of this substance, this blood-thinning substance sort of was created inadvertently as they're mixing all these chemicals together? Did they create something that also thins people's blood? We don't know. I doubt that it was an accidental contamination. It could be, but it would be a strange thing to accidentally contaminate this with. So the idea that perhaps they were using it on purpose to mask the cannabinoids to make it harder to detect, and just too much of it was used, and it obviously led to these significant problems.
And Illinois Department of Health officials, they're saying we expect the death toll to rise because they think there's a lot of this out on the street, right?
Yep, it's really scary. I mean, the message is clear. Synthetic cannabinoids, fake weed, stuff that is sold as this herbal or liquid incense, but they say that you can consume it. Don't do it. I mean, it's totally unregulated. Just don't do it. You don't know what you're getting at all. Even if you're not getting this rat poison substance, which is leading to these bleeding deaths. Yeah, even without that, why take the chance? You have just no idea what you're getting. It's a terrible idea, and the fact that they're getting away with it, selling it in this way for very cheap in these convenience stores, marketing it in colorful tins to even make it appealing to children or young people, just terrible. It should not be consumed.
Okay, well, this a real public service announcement here. Dr. Gupta, thank you so much for coming on to explain it all.
Thank you.
So in 13 days,